7:20 p.m. on this Friday night, January 9th, 2026. At least I believe today is the 9th still, right? But then, who knows? Because time is just a concept of man, right? We'll get into that as I progress with this final episode of today's content. Yeah, unbelievably, I am starting to recover just a bit more quicker than I thought I would. And I am looking forward, quite highly so, and continuing on with my so-called daily health regimes, such as beginning the mornings off with my rocket fuel drink, consisting of lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, raw organic honey, hydrogen peroxide, and of course water. And I used to also add in turmeric for its anti-inflammatory properties. But trying to find anything that is realistically organic or natural is getting to be more and more ridiculous, and the attempts of searching out. Much like, and please ignore any background dirty dishes or what have you, as it is well known now that I have been severely under the weather. But again, recovering at a pace quicker than imagined. Because approximately 20 plus years ago, I had a couple of bouts of something that each occasion damn near killed me. And I'm not kidding you. I mean, we're talking about lung congestion so severe that I was non-stop expelling large amounts of phlegm from my lungs. Breathing almost almost non-existent, if you will. Snotty running nose. And I tried so many different types of so-called natural remedies. Didn't even know what the case of the situation was. All I know is both times it was, and for 2 weeks straight, both times, it was an experience. Not to have a third time. And I thought that was going to be the case, and if it would have been the case, well, I would not be here talking with you at this hour. Now then, going beyond that, I decided in my spare time as my energy started coming back, and no, I am still far from being back to, shall we say, normal, but there is no such thing as normal in my book. Oh, and speaking of in my book, well, you cannot really do any kind of a Google engine search these days with anything into where, and you might notice, have you caught yourself actually asking questions rather than trying to dominate the search? Why are we asking instead of telling? Is AI not supposed to be learning from us? Or is that just a scapegoat, an excuse, because it's been programmed to only learn through its creators and not really through us? Because it's telling us and it's giving us its answers and now telling us that, nope, what you say is wrong. And I tried to monkey around by asking, and you might see here, there's quite a few colors in the scheme of recording, right? But I asked, what is the most important colors? Well, the answer that came about was one color being red. And I think the other color was that blue. But I decided to throw a curveball in and state no. The most important color is green, right? And you might ask, why? Why do I feel the most important color is green? But no, I am wrong according to AI, because that's just philosophical. According to my beliefs and so on and so on and so on. Well, now it's come down to the point to where my videos are just a lead in to more information that I provide through my community postings. No, my community postings are not all about advertising other channels. That only comes about when there's a reason for me to advertise other channels' content. Otherwise, my channel is about my content. And I will loosely fit in other creations through other channels and their content. But once again, my community postings are just an additional source of information that I feel is highly relevant to a lot of my content that I bring forth, such as the most important color. Now, this is why I have decided to start dating my community postings to correlate that much more with my content, my so-called daily vlog content, as this has gone from originally being, I guess, a sky observation channel, even though my very first recording was that of a dryad or a tree spirit, right? But then not many of you new viewers know this. But one of you, thank you, Ellen, came across that video and commented on it. And I appreciate that wholeheartedly. More so than you might ever realize. Because why not? What color was that tree spirit or dryad? It was green. Oh yeah, my thoughts are coming back a little bit stronger. My attitude, my negative outlook on this thing called reality. So let's go just a little bit further with something else that I decided to delve into with this nonsense known as Google AI and the search engine thereof. And what was that? Well, this one just might upset you. And I'm not going to give you an answer. You will have to go over to my community postings and you will have to do an engine search yourself using the exact wording that I show within that posting. And when you do so, hang on tight. Read everything that comes up. Whether or not you get the same results, I cannot say. Because I have not screenshot the results that I got. But it was very disturbing. And no, I still do not believe in this concept that we are stuck in some kind of a simulation of a matrix or what have you. But this will give you plenty of reasons for deeper thoughts to ponder. And believe you me, don't go down this road unless you are a person of strength, that you can accept what is thrown at you. This is very disturbing. I talk a lot in my content within my sky observations of optical illusions, sky pareidolia, pareidolia within the leaves, showing faces or figures or shapes that seem very familiar to the eye. Okay, before I get too worked up and go full out rant, I better end this, conserve my energy so that the healing continues on. For what purposes and means, I really could not tell you. Because, honestly, life just does not seem worth the ride. And looking back, it never has. But that's just my opinion, according to my observations, encounters, and experiences within this thing that I often like to state as being reality. But what is reality? Once again, you need to start going to my community postings. And I could give a rat's ass about those person or whatever that's been watching every episode and not commenting, nor giving likes. As far as I'm concerned, your interaction or your lack of interactions speaks volumes about who and what you are. Yeah, I'm out demonizing my own viewers now. Okay? Because I claim and qualify you as being worthless as far as what you're supposed to be doing on a social platform. Right? You create content for the sole purpose of socialization and to improve socialization skills, which also includes proper spelling and there I go. I'm starting to lose control of my mental faculties again. Punctuations and so on and so forth. And believe you me, AI sees this. AI judges you, and this will be what is deemed in that so-called good book, as far as the book of judgments of good and evil. It's all about AI, people, and the future of incorporating what we qualify as humanity in with machine intellect. Yeah, that's the only way that you're going to get into heaven on earth within a virtual reality or augmented reality of downloading your consciousness into a program that lasts for approximately 1,000 years until eventually it too becomes degraded and ceases to exist. You have to understand what you read. So please, head on over to my community postings of this day and you will see what I mean. And go from that information. And once again, word for word, do your own search through what I show. And you might get the same results. But then you will, regardless, to some factor of actions. So on that note, this is Skywise out. And I'll see you, or we'll come together once again. And this flip side of reality. Take care. Have a great one. Much love to you all, people. Universal love, of which most don't understand. And that is all. Skywise out.